Halloween night was upon us, and as the moon hung low in the sky, my group of friends and I decided to venture out for a spine-tingling adventure. There were 2 girls, including myself, and 4 boys, and the excitement of the holiday fueled our audacity. Our plan was to take a late-night drive down an old eerie road that had a dark history of its own. The road, named Ravenwood Lane, was infamous in our small town for being haunted. It was said that strange occurrences happened there on Halloween, and the stories passed down from generations warned of malevolent spirits, apparitions, and a sinister presence that lurked in the shadows. As we piled into 2 cars and set out toward the desolate road, the chill in the air was palpable. The wind howled and the trees whispered secrets that carried through the night. The boys, sitting in the front car, took the lead, with the girls following closely behind. As the cars wound through the winding road, I couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. The stories of Ravenwood Lane came rushing back to me, tales of ghostly figures, phantom hitchhikers, and an eerie, sinister laugh that could be heard in the dead of night. The night was dark, the moon obscured by thick clouds, and a sense of unease settled upon us like a heavy fog. It didn't take long for our fears to manifest. In the lead car, one of the boys suddenly slammed on the brakes, causing our car to stop abruptly. Panic washed over us as we saw them emerge from their vehicle, faces pale as they pointed to something on the road ahead. Intrigued, we got out of our car and joined them. There, right in the middle of the road, was an antique-looking mirror. It was tarnished and covered in grime, but there was something undeniably unsettling about it. We knew better than to mess with things we didn't understand, but the Halloween spirit had us in its grip. The boys dared each other to pick up the mirror, and eventually, one of them did. As he held it, his reflection seemed distorted, like a sinister version of himself that leered back. The unease in the air thickened, and the surrounding woods appeared to come alive with whispers. Just as we were about to leave the mirror behind, a ghostly figure appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. It was a woman dressed in a tattered white gown, her hair disheveled, and her face etched with sorrow. Her eyes were vacant, and her arms were outstretched as if pleading for help. Terrified, we backed away, leaving the mirror behind. The boys dropped it, and the woman's image shattered like glass. A haunting wail filled the air, and we sprinted back to our cars, our hearts pounding in our chests. With trembling hands, we started the engines and sped away from that cursed mirror. The road ahead seemed to stretch endlessly, and the darkness pressed in around us. We could feel eyes on us, unseen presences lurking in the shadows. As we drove further down Ravenwood Lane, strange figures began to emerge from the trees. Shadowy silhouettes danced at the edge of our vision, their ghostly forms flickering in and out of existence. Whispers filled the night air, and it felt as though the very forest itself was mocking us. The girls in our car clung to each other in fear, and I could hear the boys in the car ahead shouting in terror. It was a cacophony of panic, and we had no idea where we were going, only that we had to escape the nightmare that had become our Halloween night. Suddenly, we came to a clearing in the woods, and our cars screeched to a halt. In front of us, a sinister carnival had appeared out of nowhere. The rides were rickety and rusted, the music discordant and eerie. The carnival's lights flickered ominously, casting long, eerie shadows on the ground. The boys, still in the lead car, stumbled out of their vehicle, drawn to the carnival like moths to a flame. They began to walk toward it, their movements mechanical, as if they had lost all control. The girls and I remained in our car, our voices trembling as we called out to them, begging them to return. But it was as if they couldn't hear us, as if they were no longer themselves. As the boys disappeared into the sinister carnival, a sense of dread settled upon us. We knew we had to follow them, to rescue them from whatever dark enchantment had taken hold. We took a deep breath, steeled ourselves, and ventured into the carnival's sinister depths. The carnival was a labyrinth of horrors, each tent and attraction more terrifying than the last. We encountered grotesque, grinning clowns, eerie fortune tellers, and a haunted house that seemed to go on forever. Finally, we came to the heart of the carnival, a massive Ferris wheel that creaked and groaned in the wind. The boys were there, seated in the rusted, decrepit ride, their eyes vacant, their faces frozen in fear. We knew we had to get them out, but as we approached, the Ferris wheel began to turn on its own. The eerie music grew louder, and the world seemed to spin around us. We had no choice but to climb into the Ferris wheel, joining the boys in their nightmarish ride. As the wheel ascended, the darkness of Ravenwood Lane stretched out below us, a never-ending expanse of terror. The night had taken us prisoner, and there was no escape. The Ferris wheel continued to turn, and the carnival's eerie music played on. We were trapped in a never-ending nightmare, our Halloween adventure turning into a horrifying ordeal that would haunt us for the rest of our lives. And as we dangled in the air, our fear mounting with every passing second, we knew that the stories of Ravenwood Lane were all too real, and that we had become a part of them, trapped in a never-ending nightmare that would never let us go.